the wine glass in her hand tilted just enough to spill a crimson droplet onto the rim of the tablecloth, just enough to stain. That was how it began. Not the affair but the moment I knew. We were at a small rooftop restaurant, city lights flickering below us, the air heavy with the scent of grilled meat and cheap perfume. Across from me, Emily laughed, a little too hard, a little too long, at something her phone had just buzzed to tell her. She tried to hide it, but her smile had that flicker I used to live for and now couldn't stand. I'd seen that smile before. I used to earn that smile. Now it belonged to someone else. "Who's that?" I asked, my tone light but my eyes sharper than I wanted them to be. She looked up, her fingers still resting on her screen. "Just Sophie. You know, from the gym." I nodded, pretending to believe it. "You never laugh like that with Sophie." Her lips twitched, half amusement, half warning. "Are you jealous, Mark?" The way she said it, mocking, teasing, hit like a blade coated in sugar. I leaned forward, my voice steady, low. "No. I'm observant." She smirked, swirling her wine, refusing to break eye contact. "Then observe this," she said softly, her words floating between us like smoke. "I'm happy for the first time in months." That was it. The crack before the collapse. I didn't say another word that night. But inside, something caved in, quietly and completely. I used to think betrayal would arrive like thunder. Sudden, loud, undeniable. But it doesn't. It comes like rust. Silent, patient, working its way through everything you thought was strong. We'd been married 8 years. Met in college. Laughed through cheap pizza, cried through lost jobs, survived things that should have pulled us apart, but never did. Till now. The distance started small. Forgotten texts, late nights at yoga, phone calls that ended the second I walked in. I told myself I was paranoid, that she was stressed, that we just needed a weekend away, or more time, or maybe a miracle. But deep down, I already knew miracles don't happen for the unfaithful. The real confirmation came 2 weeks later. Came home early from work. She wasn't expecting me. Her car was still in the driveway. The house was quiet except for music drifting from the kitchen, some soft indie track I'd never heard before. Her phone was on the counter, screen lit. A message preview blinked across the top. "I miss you already. Same time tomorrow." No name. Just a gray circle and those 7 words. My stomach dropped like I'd stepped off a cliff. I didn't need to open it. Didn't need to read the rest. I just stood there, staring at the glow, the reflection of my own face warped across the glass, like a ghost haunting his own home. When she walked in minutes later, she froze. "Mark. Who's he?" I asked, the calm in my voice scaring even me. She blinked. "What?" "The one you're missing already. The one you're seeing tomorrow." She swallowed hard. Her throat moved but no sound came. Then, shockingly, she smiled. Just a flicker, but it was there. "You went through my phone." "Emily." I took a step forward. "Answer me." Her arms crossed. Defensive. Cold. "You don't get to act like a victim when you've been distant for months." That's when I realized she'd been preparing this speech. She'd built her alibi out of my exhaustion, my long hours, my silence. "You're saying this is my fault." "I'm saying you stopped seeing me, Mark. You stopped caring. What did you expect me to do? Wait around forever for you to notice me again?" I stared at her, the words hollowing out my chest. "I expected you to try," I whispered. The days that followed blurred together. We spoke less, slept in separate rooms, pretended our house wasn't collapsing. She still went out with friends. I still pretended not to notice. But every night, I'd lie awake listening to the quiet, wondering if she was lying beside him instead. It's strange. The way betrayal changes how you breathe, how you move, how even silence feels heavier. I wanted to confront him. To break something, scream, anything. But what would that do? It wasn't about him. It was about her. The woman I once built my life around. The woman who now looked at me like I was a stranger sitting in her seat. One night, around 11 p.m., she came home wearing a dress I hadn't seen before. something short, black, and far too elegant for Sophie's birthday. Her hair was tousled, her perfume different, stronger, sharper. She looked radiant, and I hated how beautiful she was. "Had fun?" asked voice steady. She smiled faintly. "Yeah. It was nice to feel alive again." The words hit me like a slap. "Alive," I repeated. "And you don't feel that here." Her eyes met mine, cool and detached. "Not for a long time." "Is he the reason you're alive now?" She froze. Just for a heartbeat, but I caught it. Then she laughed softly. "You really are jealous, huh?" That smirk again. That damn smirk that said she held all the cards and I was just catching up. I felt something inside me break. The last, fragile thread of patience, love, or maybe just denial. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping the floor. "Jealous?" said, meeting her gaze. "No, Emily." I took a breath that felt like the first one in months. "I'm done." She blinked, startled for the first time in weeks. "What?" "I'm done chasing shadows. Done pretending this is a marriage. You wanted to feel alive. Congratulations. You've killed everything that was." Her smirk faded, replaced by confusion. Maybe fear. "Mark, don't be dramatic. You're just hurt right now." "Damn right I'm hurt," I snapped, the words cutting out like thunder. "You cheated, Emily. You lied. You stood there and laughed while you destroyed everything we built." She flinched. "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly." My voice dropped to a whisper. "You wanted someone to make you feel wanted again. But instead of fixing what was broken, you burned it down." Silence. Just the ticking clock and her shallow breathing. She turned away, wiping her eyes, and for the briefest second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Then her phone buzzed again. His name lighting up the screen. And that was all I needed. Packed that night. No yelling, no grand speeches. Just quiet movement. The sound of zippers, drawers closing, the dull thud of shoes into a bag. She watched from the doorway, mascara running, her hands shaking. "You're leaving." "I'm saving myself," I said softly. "Mark, please," she whispered. "Don't throw us away like this." I laughed bitterly. "I'm not the one who threw us away." Her lip trembled. "I made a mistake." "No," I cut in, turning to face her. "A mistake is spilling coffee. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You made a choice." The silence that followed was the heaviest sound I've ever heard. I didn't look back when I closed the door. Didn't look at the porch light that used to feel like home. Didn't look at the house that held our laughter, our memories, our ghosts. I just walked. The night air was cold, sharp, cleansing. Every step away from her felt like ripping stitches, but also, somehow, like healing. Weeks passed. Then months. He tried to call. Sent messages. "We can fix this. I miss you. Please talk to me." I never replied. It wasn't about revenge. It was about peace, the kind I hadn't felt in years. I learned that silence, when chosen, can be the loudest answer of all. Last week I saw her again. Pure coincidence. A grocery store on a Saturday morning. She was standing in aisle 6, holding a box of cereal, laughing with a man I didn't recognize. Her eyes sparkled the way they once did for me. And for the first time it didn't hurt. I just nodded to myself and walked past. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say to someone who betrayed you is nothing at all. But later when I got home, I poured myself a glass of water and sat by the window, staring out at the rain. And I realized something simple, something painfully human. Love doesn't end when betrayal begins. It fades. Slowly, reluctantly, like the last embers of a dying fire. You can forgive. You can move on. But you never forget the sound of trust breaking. And yet, that's the beauty of surviving it. You learn that heartbreak doesn't define you. It frees you. I don't know if Emily ever truly regretted it. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. But I know this. The night she smirked and asked if I was jealous, she thought she still owned my heart. She didn't realize I'd already decided to take it back. Because sometimes, the end of a marriage isn't the end of love. It's the rebirth of self-respect. And when I said, I'm done, I meant it. Not just with her, but with pain, with pretending, with living small. And for the first time in a long, long while, I finally felt alive again.